it reduced by about 50 to 70%.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bharathwaj Rajagopal, a great automotive engineer, an alumnus of the first private university of India, Annamalai University, based in Chidambaram, the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. For 3 decades, he has been associated with India's automotive industry, with every OEM, from development to design to delivery to taking the product to the market. For 3 decades, Bharat has understood the nuances of this wonderful industry.
Morning, good day everybody. I think it's a fabulous day today. We are in the great city of Chennai, the Detroit of India, where we have got every known vehicle maker present in some form or the other. I don't mean the vehicle brands, the manufacturers, the different types of vehicles. But then we also have such a beautiful greenery here, and it's such a nice day. I think the time has come for us to get out of this corona fear. There are 2 things we have to get out of always, fear and greed, and they say that's the best motivational factors, getting out of fear and greed. As we are going to do well the next few years, we have taken a good break.
A great database, tremendous experience in this industry, 3 decades. Knows the global industry, suppliers, manufacturers, above all customers. An engineer, an economist, and a true financial manager. Knows the markets, knows what consumers want, knows vendors. Bharat's involvement with the industry has been so intense. He's got several copyrighted supply chain algorithms and management processes.
Direct automotive industry, but also in the component industry as such. This is a close-knit B2B environment where a great association is needed between these 2 industries. The component industries as well as the manufacturers, the OEMs, the vehicle makers. The vehicle makers decide what the consumer has to be provided, and the component industry decides how they have to be serviced. That's how it happens in India. So with the 3 decades of, I would say, the automotive, OEM, the mushrooming of the new multinationals in the country, the growth and the blossoming of the homegrown Indian companies, or the change in the technologies across the transportation space, it's been a 3-decade association what I've had with the industry, and I think on hindsight it's a good decision that I took after graduating in '93, that I will not get into the Indian IT sector, which was the growth phase that time for any engineer who came out of any college. I said I'll have to be with the transportation or the manufacturing sector and move on with it, and I think it's been a good journey so far in these last 3 decades. So this city has migrated into the Detroit of India. In the last couple of decades, we have got different types of vehicle makers present in this city, and a great component hub right from the TVS group, the Amalgamations group, the Rane groups, and the Rajagopalan group, and various other groups who are located here, and who are key suppliers to the OEMs in the country today. By key I mean is that they are dependable, reliable people, easy to handle, and they provide a great value proposition for the businesses. See, the independence happened in 1947, but then the corporate business houses for component manufacturing as well as for product vehicle manufacturing started way before that. It started at least a decade before that in Chennai, so that is the history of the city. We started in 1930s, and we have progressed to what I would say 2020s. We're just another 10 years short of a century of automotive evolution in this country. They say in those days you can adjust your watch time by the TVS bus. I'm talking about 1932-33. That is when the great TV Sundaram Iyengar started his bus transportation. And from then, if you see, the first component manufacturer, the first component supplier to set up a foundry, the first component supplier to import machinery has always been Chennai. But what is a good business? A good business is something which starts well and sustains well and goes on, coasts across the ocean till they reach their goal and then moves on to the next goal. That's the crux of a business. Now, sustenance of business is more important than creating a business or starting a business. In that aspect, if you see, these companies, the groups and the homegrown Indian companies which have been there have been growing in the last 7 decades, since maybe before independence onwards till today. They've been growing for the last 7 decades. So have they not been doing good financial management? Have they not applied prudence in their investments? Have they not gone for some of the best priced, I wouldn't call it cheapest, some of the value for money equipments, importing a second-hand machinery and then refurbishing it to perform as good as the primary one? That calls for the engineering innovation of the Indian entrepreneurial mind. Have they not done all that? A good financial prudence, sustaining all the ups and downs and the problems before the what I would say liberalization era, and the aspirational goals that were set post-liberalization era, and the competition that came in post-liberalization era, and the competition that came in with the low cost of capital or with cheap capital, freebies given by way of tax swaps and all kinds of things. The Indian homegrown company, the entrepreneur, has always been doing well and blossoming in these circumstances. The ability to measure up and the ability to sustain, survive and jump over these obstacles. They are not obstacles, I would say these positive challenges have made the Indian entrepreneur today, especially after this COVID situation, far more competent to handle the global enterprise, the global markets, than what they've been doing in the past. The first thing that comes to mind to anyone after this COVID, everybody talks about economic problems. Of course, nobody talks about emotional problems, assuming that we sort out our emotional problems. But as a collective entity, which is India as a country, a group of diverse 1.3 billion people with different thought processes, different cultures, I would say a mega Europe on its own in terms of people volume. They talk about economic issues. They talk about lack of economic growth. They talk about lack of opportunities in economics. There is only one thing I know about economics, what they have said and what I learned in the hallowed lands of the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, from Dr. Shyamal Rai, was that there are only 3 factors. One is a supplier, one is a buyer, a seller, and a price. Nothing else is economics. Everything is built onto this magic formula, which is, I would term it as, a seller yes, a buyer B, and a price B, price P. Now, what I would say is that we are sitting on the beginning or on the upward cusp, the verge of a huge economic boom that's going to happen in our country. A lot of people have been criticizing this COVID. Daily numbers have been increasing. The graph has been going that way up. And I am of the view that as the COVID graph moves up, our economic graph also is going to move up. It is because of our ability to convert whatever is a problem into an opportunity. What we have to do right now is to innovate and change the way we do things. The process management of the way we do things is more important than the product management today. We don't talk about great cars, we talk about safe cars, we talk about healthy cars. It's healthy travel. Is it not a big opportunity if you can create a safe and healthy travel system rather than creating a nice component on the car or on the truck or on the train to give it some other advantages? Somewhere money has to be spent, somewhere money has to be taken out. Just change where it has to be spent and change where it has to be taken out. On the same context, people always complain that there are a lot of shops and freebies and various what I would say welcome gifts given to the international companies which come and set up shop, especially our Honorable Prime Minister's Make in India, which is a very great philosophy and probably one of the best things that India can take up in the last decade or so. The Make in India means it's not only make in India, it's buy in India, sell in India, buy from India, sell from India, everything put together. And these companies which are coming up here, why are they given freebies and why are they given the advantages of investments, tax breaks or anything? They are bringing in certain technologies which are not here. They are bringing in indirectly a lot of knowledge to the country which is being paid back by the people by way of these tax rebates. That is one point. But then, can these companies look at these tax rebates and look at this, then make a fly-by-night operation in India? As long as I'm getting money, I'm here, otherwise I'm done, good, I'm getting out. This country is not fit for me. That is wrong.